When did you first start on Zoey 101? Or when did you first audition? Were you like 11 or 12?
I was 12.
12, and then
I actually got my period before the first episode.
Ew, so you're
Sorry.
like uncomfortable, and I love that. Like you're already.
I was at Nickelodeon on Sunset when I got my period.
Oh my gosh,
for the first time.
Oh, for the first. Wait, was it like right before the audition? Was your first
No,
time?
it was when I booked it. We had like a meet and greet at Nickelodeon on Sunset, and I went to the bathroom, and I was like, I got my period.
Yeah.
And I guess this is the beginning of my teenage years.
Yeah. So like, here we go, Nickelodeon.
Here we go, Nickelodeon.
So in the first episode, we talk a little bit about Alexa and her mother and how her mother really got her involved in the industry. She did a ton of commercials, a bunch of projects.
Yes.
How did your mom even like stumble across this opportunity?
So I was with a pretty big agency at the time called Innovative. Which one? Innovative Leisure, Innovative. Innovative. Yeah. And I got a normal audition per usual. It's called Zoey. I think it was Untitled at that time. I feel it was Untitled Jamie Lynn Spears show.
Oh, okay.
And it was for Nicole Bristow. And the description was like boy crazy, cute, ditzy. Yeah, all those descriptions.
Every time I hear that name, it throws me off because I'm like, my hometown is Bristow.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like Bristow, Virginia. Yeah.
That's
so every time I hear, I'm like, Bristow.
You're like Bristow, where I'm from.
So you had like an initial meeting, right? Like, how did the audition process go?
So I went for an audition, went to producers, saw Dan Schneider. Ew. Sorry. But yeah, I saw him.
Yeah.
And then I moved on to testing, I think, after that. And I tested alongside Jamie Lynn Spears. So met Jamie.
Did you meet other Nicole Bristow options?
Erin Sanders was auditioning for Nicole Bristow.
Was she someone else also in the show, right?
Yeah, she plays Quinn.
Yeah, with the glasses.
Yeah, and then he wrote Quinn for her because he wanted to put her in the show, but she didn't fit as Nicole Bristow. Yeah. And so he wrote her in as Quinn. But originally it was just Nicole Bristow.
Yeah.
And obviously Logan and
Was it a long audition process? Like, do you remember it was like months between?
No, I think it was like a month. I think it was in 1 month, and then maybe the testing was the next month. It was like audition, callback, and then testing.
Is testing when you're actually on set reading like lines?
No, so you're not on set. You're at Nickelodeon on Sunset. You're meeting with the execs. So you're meeting with all the producers and also the network.
Was that scary to meet these people, or were you kind of like
I was so used to it at this point, but it was still nerve-wracking. I really wanted the role at the time. I just felt like I was Nicole at that point in my life, and I was like, this is easy for me. You know, like this, I should have this role. But I remember, I think it was like 5,000 thousands of girls auditioned for Nicole Bristow.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that and being like, how the fuck did I get this? You know, afterwards, I was like, wow, that's amazing. But I remember going into it feeling confident.
Yeah.
But also nervous, of course. And then meeting Jamie, I was hoping that we were going to get along because I knew that was going to be my co-star who I was like working with day in and day out. And so once I went in there, I was trying to bond with her in some way, but she was very shy.
Really?
So my first interaction with her, she was just like very.
So you see it as like shy, not mean. It was just like
at
shy.
Beginning, yeah.
Okay.
When my first initial was she's shy. Also, her sister's Britney Spears. I get it.
Yeah.
Like who, you know, everyone's probably talking to you in a specific way because of your sister and yada yada yada. So I knew that there was going to be some kind of closed offness, and so that's what I first thought that was at the time.
So then, like, what was it like to be on set? Was it like, I guess there were like, because the show itself was filmed at a university, right?
At
so were you
Pepperdine.
always there?
Always there.
So that's where the entire show was filmed?
The entire show.
So like, when you're like on set, it's not like, because a lot of like sets are made up out in the studio. So you were just outside at this university filming the show.
Correct. And in the dorm rooms as well.
And all the students are around, were those just actors?
No, we were filming actually during summertime.
Oh.
So no students were there.
So those were all actors like playing
Correct.
students. That's a lot of extras.
A lot of extras.
Do you think they got paid anything? Like,
I hope so.
Like
hope they got paid more than me, to be honest.
Girl, oh my gosh.
Seriously, they were working a lot harder than most of us.
Yeah.
They were like on set 24/7, walking back and forth, walking like across the campus. Like they were doing a lot more than us, I think, at certain points.
So when you're auditioning for it, you're meeting with a bunch of these executives and these people who are involved in the show. Like, who were you actually working on set with, though? Like, there's a producer, a director?
Yes, so there would be the director. There would always be Dan.
And is Dan the producer?
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah, he was like the main guy,
He's Schneider's Bakery.
Yeah.
Weird.
Is that still a thing?
Yes, that's still a thing. Is the bakery still open?
I think they closed up. They got like E. coli or something. I'm just kidding.
E. coli. I wouldn't be surprised.
Is E. coli meat though? I don't even know. Like,
it might be.
I don't know.
Can you get E. coli in dessert? I'm not positive.
Oh, well, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
So you're with him a lot of the time.
Yes.
And then you obviously like you're a minor, so you have someone who's an adult who accompanies you.
Correct.
Was that always your mom, or did you have like someone
Always
switched
my
out?
mom. But then in season 2, it ended up being a lot of the time Victoria Justice's mom.
Okay, so she kind of like co-did both of them.
Correct.
Like both of you. Like give your mom a little bit.
Correct. My mom would be there all the time. And so, she volunteered to drive me there and then to watch over me on some days.
Mm-hmm. So working with Dan Schneider, he definitely has a reputation on the internet.
Yes.
People have made videos. My most viewed video on my YouTube channel is about him. It's got like 3-point-something million views. Yeah.
What?
I know. It's like before I even like took YouTube seriously. Like I made that video. But wow. He's a creep, right?
Creeped me out.
Creeped you out.
Creeps.
What do you think was like kind of creepy about him? I mean, honestly, even like not trying to like shame, but like even looking at him, I feel like you can see he's creepy. But like, how about like demeanor, personality wise?
He was very strange in the sense where he had kind of 2 personalities, or maybe 3, but he had 2 definite personalities where he was either very like funny and goofy. And then his other side was very serious and stubborn and pissed off. Yeah. And so I didn't know personally which Dan we were getting that day. So, and for me personally, he had like a very weird way with me. Where it just felt that he liked to give me the cold shoulder a lot. And I don't know what that was about.
Make you feel like you're easily replaceable.
Totally.
Like just not like worthless.
Totally.
So there was one point where he like yelled at you, right?
Oh, yeah.
And can you just describe like what happened in that moment? Like he pulled you off to the side.
Well, no, we were actually at, again, Nickelodeon Sunset.
Okay.
It was
Why were you
after
guys
the
there?
Britney Spears situation.
Okay. Which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, so that happened, and I love Britney. So I'm going to say the first part, like, there's nothing new to say there. But so anyways, so after that whole horrible scenario happened, they set up a meeting at Nickelodeon Sunset. My mom was wanting to pull me from the show.
Because of that incident, yeah.
Yes, and because it was hell for me for both of those seasons.
Yeah.
And my mom was fed up. Like, no one was taking us seriously. Like, no one was really doing anything to mediate, which is funny about Chris Massey. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And TMZ is literally number 1 on his contact list.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. Like, there's like 5 different TMZ videos of Chris Massey outside of people's homes and stuff. It's like, what?
Trying to mediate some shit. Like, yeah, right. Totally. It's a little too late.
And your brother. Okay, anyways.
They're both bad.
They're both shady.
I got videos about both of them.
I have a weird story about Chris Massey, actually. Anyways.
What's weird about Chris Massey, though?
Okay, we'll fast forward then a lot. So when I was like 15, I would have these gatherings, like high school parties kind of, and they were popping. They
oh my
were
gosh,
like,
I'm sure they were.
It was the first time I was actually popular, to be honest. And people, like 300 kids would like come over, and we would hang out, smoke hookah, not the things you're supposed to be doing at that age, whatever.
Oh my gosh, I totally was obsessed with hookah in like high school.
Totally, everyone was.
Totally doing that.
And I had a hookah. So people would come over, and I remember one day Aaron Sanders tried to come into my party, and I was a little bit
Did you not get along with her?
No.
No.
Because no one would do anything. It wasn't even like everyone was... There were people that were bullying me, and then there were individuals that were watching it happen and not doing anything about it. And then some people would actually just stop saying hello to me to be on Jamie's side.
And that's her.
And Erin was one of those. And she was very interesting, different kind of person. Yeah. And so she tried to come to my party, and I remember I had a bodyguard at my parties. Because weird people were...
I love that. I want a bodyguard.
It was fun, actually, because weird people would try to come in because they would find out about my party, and then like random people would try to come in. So I got a bodyguard, and I remember the bodyguard coming to me and saying, "There's a girl named Erin Sanders trying to come into your party." I was like, "Who?" Okay. But I was like, "What?" So I went outside, and it was Erin and her mom. I think it was my Halloween party, and they were dressed up, and I was like, "Erin, do you know what I experienced for 2 fucking years on that show that you witnessed and didn't do anything about? Like, do you remember that?" And she was silent. And her mom was like, "Erin didn't mean..." I was like, you're not invited here.
Yeah.
Like, you guys didn't even let me go to reunion parties. Like, even after the show, like, they would get together sometimes, not to the actual reunion, but after season, no one would invite me anywhere, not even to the rap parties, etc. So I was like, oh my gosh, you're not invited here.
Yeah.
Like,
bitch.
let me be in peace over here.
Trying
finally.
to act brand new at my Halloween, with y'all dressed up too.
Yeah,
I'll be like, I'll be like, get your costume off and go.
It was so fucked up. I was like, oh my God, you should know that I don't want you here, you know?
Yeah.
And so she left. But Chris Massey and I were still kind of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he was trying to hook up with all the girls there. Which is fine. You know.
I mean, that's 15. Like,
that's what everyone's doing. Yeah, you know, whatever. But I remember he wanted me to come into he had like an old Mercedes or something. And I remember he asked me to come into his car and he just started making out with me.
Ooh.
And I was like, what the fuck? You know, and I was like, what, 15? Maybe he was 18 at that point.
Because he's older.
Yeah. And I just remember being super uncomfortable and I was like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
I need to get out of the car. Like,
I'm trying to go to my party and have fun.
And you're like, what
Where's
is
the
going
bodyguard?
on here? Where's the bodyguard? I was like, this is not what I'm trying to do here. I thought we were friends. And so I remember just being like so weirded out by that because that was never the vibe that I got from him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I guess I'm like in my Halloween costume, whatever.
And
he's
hot. Do you know what you're wearing? Like,
I was a nurse.
You were a nurse. Oh my
God. There's a photo. You can probably find it on Google. There's a photo of me and Chris Massey at my Halloween party. I'm like in a nurse, like with fishnets. You know, those should be illegal for minors. But I was in that. And so that happened. And I remember just being like, that is so weird. And then Kyle Massey also tried to hook up with me. I visited.
Both brothers.
Sorry, this is horrible now. I'm saying too many things. But I went to the That's So Raven shooting and I was in his green room area or whatever, and he was like, "You have a good bubble butt."
Ooh,
I remember.
like, oh sure.
I was like, what? And I remember him like trying to hook up with me and me being like, "Kyle, I'm not interested right now. Like, I have a boyfriend or whatever." Yeah. But both of the brothers. And then whenever, I think after that, like none of them really hit me up anymore.
They seem like the type that would hook up with the same girl at the same time. Like, ew, it's so gross. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's just erase that from our minds. Erase that thought.
Oh my God.
They totally would though. They probably have. If you have been one of the
if you
of the
know
women who slept with both of them at the same time, like ew,
do not come forward. Just save yourself. They're gonna make this a nightmare.
Way worse for you.
Oh my God, way worse.